In fast-moving world, some people find ways to keep tradition alive while shaping the future. Our guest today is one of them. She has worked in real estate, education, healthcare and co-living spaces. But what makes this episode special is her deep connection to the Wari tradition and her mission Maulichya Dari that's bringing 1 lakh trees to life along the sacred Wari path. Her journey with Wari has been close to her heart, filled with faith and meaning. Through Maulichya Dari, she is turning that journey into something truly inspiring. We are happy to have Swapnali Vishwajeet Kadam with us today on Unfiltered Conversations to share her story and her incredible work. Thank you for the kind introduction, Devyani, and I'm feeling very excited actually, just by the sheer idea of being able to plant so many trees. And we've had some very interesting friends of ours who are helping us and, making this dream come true actually. So very, very excited. I'd like to take you back to many, many years because I've seen you as a person who's been so dedicatedly going for each and every Wari that has been there. So what was your first time experience when you walked the Wari? Can you tell us about the cherished memories and any stories that really connected you deeply to it? So, just to give you a little bit of a background of what this Wari is and how it started. So basically, Wari started almost about 700 years ago in the 13th century. And this is when the Warkaris, actually they're done with their, they're done with their sowing. Correct.
And then they just have to wait for the rain gods to shower their blessings on the crop. And that's when they have that break.
Yes.
So, the tradition is that in that break of 2 months when the monsoons are on, they actually, it was more like a religious thing to go to God from Anandi to Pandharpur. So this is how it started. And my great-grandparents, so they have been Warkaris. So they used to do it. Yeah. And so they have walked many, many Waris. And obviously at that point, they used to go through the dindis and, all of that. And then post that, my father started walking almost 25 years ago. And now we ourselves are quite a bit of a dindi and we walk every year. In fact, this will be my 15th year that I walk. And I still remember in 2006 when I walked my first Wari.
Yeah.
So we walked 25 kilometers every day.
Wow.
And but so the year before that actually, when I walked, my Atya did the first 25 kilometers and I couldn't keep up with her. And I said, wow, this is like a wake-up call that, from a health aspect, I said, I must start walking. But also this this tradition of seeing my father walking. And I know that he feels very rejuvenated every time he would walk and come back. And he would every year look forward to that. And obviously, I wanted to experience what he was saying. And till the time you don't experience, you don't really know.
Absolutely.
So, so I thought that was a good time for me to start walking. I just started out my career in real estate, etc. So it was a very good time for me to start walking. And so the first time, it was very, very difficult. They say if you walk the second day, you've done the Wari. So the second day, one of our family friends who also walks with us, she has made me walk 25 kilometers by saying 10 minutes, 10 minutes. आपण 10 मिनिटात पोहोचतोय, आपण 10 मिनिटात पोहोचतोय. असं करत करत, I finished this day 2. And there you go, I was done with the Wari. But of course, many, many interesting, interactions with the Warkaris. It was so beautiful. It was so nice. And I still remember so many of these interactions where, we interact with the, some of the women who are 70 plus and walking with the kalas. डोक्यावर कळस घेऊन चालतात आणि तुळशीचं हे घेऊन चालतात. They're walking without their chappals. and still talking to us and blessing, So, I had this one interaction with this Ajji, and she said, of course, this I saw again from what my father used to do, and he would kind of hand over something or the other to all the Warkaris. So when I handed over, this something that I had in my hand to this Ajji, she said, God bless you, beta. आणि ह्याचं आता, I'm going to use this for my child's education. आणि तू खूप शिकशील आणि तू पण खूप मोठी होशील. So I think this Ashirwad was so amazing. It's just stayed with me. Ki, just something, such a small gesture can get you such amazing blessings. So I think it's about the blessings, really,
Yes.
So that has stayed with me, and multiple other things, So this was one of it.
That is beautiful, because when I think about Wari or its tradition or how it's culturally rooted, the one thing that stands out from your experience or from all the Warkaris' experience, even if it is a 60-year-old woman, a 80-year-old Azoba walking, whenever you cross paths with them, it's about the act of love, that selflessness, that unity, that feeling of just being a human being, surrendering to the emotions of love and togetherness. I think it's the biggest and the most strongest community that binds you with love and nothing else. And that's what I feel has kept you rooted and connected to the Wari so many years. And I think for the future generations, or you're setting those norms and those inspiration for everyone to join in, from your initiative which we want to talk about, which is Maulichya Dari.
Correct. How
did your personal inspiration from the Wari connect you to start something like this?
So basically, I've been walking the Wari, like I said, this will be my 15th year. And almost the first 10-12 years, we walk the Wari. There are about 7 to 8 lakh people that walk this Wari every year. And when we walk, we would walk through the small villages, beautiful small roads, beautiful, like a tree cover that we used to get throughout the walks. There are certain patches that we would actually look forward to.
Correct.
So after walking so many years, we know, अच्छा आता जेजुरी आलंय, आता तो चढ येणार आहे, आणि आता हे आलंय, मग इथे ते ट्रीज canopy येणार आहे. So we actually look forward to that. And this happened for almost about 10-12 years. आणि मग कोविड नंतर जेव्हा आम्ही चालायला सुरुवात केली, तोपर्यंत मस्त सगळे हायवेज आणि हे सगळं झालं होतं. So we miss walking through the villages and through these canopy of trees, and of course, again, there is so much to walk. We're walking, the total distance is about 250 kilometers. And when you're walking 250 kilometers, it's interesting to have that, cover of trees, walk through the villages, have a little area to sit by. And so I thought in the last 2-3 years when we walked, I thought that is something that I'm missing. And, everybody that we walk, I mean, we're a couple of us that walk, and we kept talking about it. Ki झाडं पाहिजे. म्हणजे, and more than us, all the Warkaris who walk, they come from all over the place, from all over Maharashtra, from all corners of Maharashtra. आणि त्यांना मग थोडंसं कुठेतरी बसायला जागा, जरा दुपारचं विरंगुळा किंवा झाडाखाली बसले, शेड खाली बसले, दुपारचं काहीतरी नाश्ता करतायत किंवा एक झोप काढतायत. कारण आम्ही काही वेळेला काय करतो, आम्ही पुढे जातो आणि मग 1-2 दिवस घरी पण येतो. पण हे जे माऊली आहेत, हे सर्व 15 दिवस अख्खं वारीमध्येच असतात. सो आय जस्ट थॉट दॅट वुड बी अ गुड थिंग to have for the Warkaris, for all these Maulis to rest. And also just to kind of add there that about 10 years ago, आम्ही तेव्हा सुद्धा गावागावांमध्ये विसावे केलेत. of course on the route of the Wari, जिथे लोक आणि हे माऊली वारकरी सगळे बसून आराम करू शकतात. So I think this is just an extension to also what we've already done, but in the form of trees, which is environmentally friendly, is going to help in a much longer kind of a aspect, is going to help the future generation also. Of course, it's an act of a one time. पण I think पुढच्या खूप जनरेशन साठी उपयोगी पडेल, कारण सगळे जे वारकरी चालत येतील त्यांनाही शेड मिळेल. So I'm just kind of excited about that.
Because Warkari जेव्हा चालतात तेव्हा, like you said, they don't take break. I mean, they'll just keep walking every day without any sandals, without any sport shoes, anything. And I have seen people doing the medical camps. They are doing waste management drives. They are doing a lot of other initiatives, but your initiative, which you've started, and the beautiful name which you've given to it, feels so futuristic and so welcoming for the generations. And you're not just thinking about yourself, but what the surroundings want. And it is very unique and very happily surprising for me to see that you are doing it and you're taking this ahead. So Maulichya Dari हे नाव कसं सुचलं, आणि tree plantation, ते पण 1,00,000 झाडं, like 1,00,000 trees you are going to do it. It's not easy. How are you going to manage this? And I mean, this is such a proud feeling, you know, to see someone do something like this. So I just I'm very excited to know about the name and, you know, this thought process that made you do all of this.
Yeah. So I think firstly the name.
Yes.
I think माऊली म्हणजे खरं माऊलीचा अर्थ आई आहे. आणि ज्या देवाला आपण हे करतो माऊलींना, ते खरं विठोबा आहेत. आणि हे पहिले असे देव आहेत की जे विठोबा असून त्यांना आईचं आपण मान देतोय. But whole point of Mauli is also, the whole concept of Mauli is also Mauli is within each one of us.
True.
And I think that is what is beautiful, because you know, for each one of us, we know that we can be our best version, and that is actually the whole spirit of walking the Wari, that, you know, those 10-12 days is all about introspection, is all about how can you become a better human being, how can you connect better. It's such a grounding experience. I really look forward to it because it really is kind of re-energizing. It's grounding, it's re-energizing. You know, it connects me with myself and to my roots. आणि आपल्या आसपासचे सगळेच माऊली आहेत. So I think that is very interesting that we thought एकतर माऊली, आणि आता इतके वर्ष आपण सगळे चालतोय, तर एक आई जशी आपल्याला आपलं सगळं, आपल्या चूक भूल सगळं माफ करून आपल्याला पोटात घेते, तसं या माऊलींनी आपल्या सर्वांसाठी केलेलं आहे. आणि आय थॉट दॅट दिस इज जस्ट अ स्मॉल जेस्चर वेअर इतके सगळे लोक जे माऊलींच्या घरी जात आहेत, तर त्या अख्ख्या रस्त्यामध्ये आपण त्यांना एक काहीतरी देऊ शकतो. आय थिंक दॅट्स अ व्हेरी फॉर्च्युनेट थिंग फॉर मी दॅट आय एम एबल टू डू दॅट. ऑफकोर्स in the process, आम्ही 2-3 वर्ष आमच्या दिंडीमध्ये बोलत होतो की काय करायचं, कसे ट्रीज प्लांट करायचे. But I feel when you really put it out in the universe, somehow it gets manifested. I mean, आज 1,00,000 झाडं हे माझे एक व्हेरी क्लोज फ्रेंड आनंद चोरडिया ह्यांनी दिलेले आहेत. सो इट्स व्हेरी नाईस, व्हेरी काइंड ऑफ हिम टू काइंड ऑफ गिव्ह आउट दीज ट्रीज फॉर अस टू प्लांट. वी आर लुकिंग एट मोर पीपल हू कॅन हेल्प अस and who can join into this kind of a tree plantation drive and help us take this forward. And of course, I mean, I think since we put it out in the universe, things are kind of coming to us. People are coming, joining hands with us, and you know, making this dream come true. Like I said in the beginning, you know. So I think that's what it is.
There's one question I was just constantly coming to me. Imagine you are in the Wari, and you're talking about such deeply rooted emotional, you know, like belonging and bonding to the whole journey. Has there been any moment in your life while you were walking the Wari that has made you emotional, that is deeply rooted to what you're doing right now. Is there anything which you would like to share about this? Because I feel that there is some sense of purpose that's coming from this initiative. Like you said, that you've put it out there. Is there anything that connects you? Because I feel that you're so purpose-driven in life. Can you talk about one of that emotional experiences of yours that has shaped you today?
You know, honestly, when I walk the Wari, there's so much that's going on. When you start talking to yourself, there's so much that comes out. And when you talk about something over and over again, you know that it's there for real. It's there for you to really work on it. And this was one of those, you know, that I feel, for example, even with the kids, you know, environment is so important that I feel that kids must be made aware that, you know, all the resources that have been given to us, that we are lucky enough to have these resources and how to value those resources. I think that is really the key, you know. So even when I say resources, it doesn't just have to be environmental resources. It's any and every resources that we have that needs to be valued. And for example, even the resources in terms of even tradition and the culture. So when I walk the Wari every year, even my kids are very excited to kind of see me walk, and they know that this is the time that I'm going to be, you know, going and coming, and you know, they're extra caring at that point. Mama, how much did you walk today? Oh, did you walk 25? And they know that when we're going to stay, then we're going to walk about 35 to 40 kilometers. Ma pai dukta itka, Mama, can we walk? You know, can we press your feet? Can we press your legs? So it's a very nice thing. I think kids really learn from what they see, and not from what you tell them. So I think for me, that is really what I feel, that whatever I'm doing is really from that aspect, that my kids are seeing and learning from what I'm doing, not from what I'm saying. So, you know, when I'm walking the Wari, they can see the faith. When I'm planting these trees, they see the love for the nature, that we value the resources that we have. And I think this is something that I want to pass on to them. You know, everything else can come and go. But I think the value system that you can pass on to your next generation, that is something that really is very important to me. And I think that's what, you know, gets me going every day.
I think that is possibly the purest definition of what Mauli means. And that's what you've given in this beautiful answer of yours. I mean, like, it just touched me that you spoke about the kids, and it also makes me feel sad at the same time, because I see so much of environmental changes happening, like you pointed out. The climate change has been real. If you see, the monsoons came early this year, and it has been devastating for all the farmers, all the communities. What is your take on these changes that have been happening in the environment? Because you're doing it for that, right? So can you elaborate more about your perspective about the climate change and what others need to look at when they're addressing it?
You know, climate change is for real. We cannot ignore it anymore. But I also know that there are many more people who are doing things in their whatever is very close to their heart, like you earlier pointed out, waste management. A lot of people are doing waste management. Like we were just talking earlier, your father really plants trees every month. So, you know, there are so many good people who are doing good work, doing good things at their own level. So I'm very happy to see that there are people who are taking you know, initiatives to work on the climate change, to kind of you know, reverse it to a certain extent as much as is possible. And finally, that's what we are giving to our next generation, that, you know, we are kind of telling them that we value our resources and how do we use them more consciously. So I think this is what, you know, sorry, I missed part of your question.
So It was about your take on the future of that. So I can ask you in this way, that how Maulichya Dari combines spiritual heritage with ecological restoration. So you can mix up both the, the spirituality and the ecological restoration of.
Yeah. So I think going forward, like I said, one thing is that we are doing this for the Warkaris, for the next generations. So like I said, this is a one-time activity, but it'll help many more generations going ahead who will be walking the Wari. So right now we're actually going to plant certain trees along the national highway on the route from Anandi to Pandharpur.
Yes.
But also what we are looking at doing is going into the smaller gram panchayats which are on the way. And there what we want to do again is that tie up with certain schools and colleges which will then give opportunity to all the kids in these schools and colleges to actually plant this tree and call it their own. So again, we are giving that experience to all the kids and giving that exposure to them that, this will be your tree and how well can you take care of this tree for the years to come. So, we're kind of extending that, of course, while also giving them a little bit of background on climate change and how it can help, what are the things to do. So we will be kind of doing a little bit of that as well when we do kind of access these schools and colleges. And of course, Bharati Vidyapeeth also has one school on the way at Dundas, on the way, on this Wari way. So we will have these kids also planting some trees in and around the area. And our environmental school, Bharati Vidyapeeth, was actually the first university to start environmental college.
Wow,
so
that's amazing.
Yeah, so we have our faculty also who's helping on this project and helping us identify areas and gram panchayats where we can do this plantation, which trees to plant, which trees will stay in terms of longevity, because we don't want to just plant and forget about it, right?
Correct.
So also what we're going to do is we're going to plant the trees and make sure that those trees are taken care of over the next 5 years.
That's
and
amazing.
The longevity is what is important to us. So, we're not just going to plant and forget about it. We're going to take care of the trees to make sure that maximum number of trees live a long life.
True.
So this is what we're kind of trying to do.
I think you pointed out a very good aspect of how tree plantation and correct tree plantation is equivalent to climate change, or the reversal of climate change, right? And sometimes, as people don't know, are not aware of, if you kind of put out wrong kind of trees at location, it accelerates climate change. So it is a great part of knowing for the audience that whenever you're doing any tree plantations, it's always important to plant the native trees and have the advice of the experts, like you spoke about the Bharatiya Vidyapeeth and their expertise that comes into the plantation. So it's not just about taking in initiatives, but studying them thoroughly and then making sure it lasts longer, right? So talking about the youth, the communities, you said that you want to kind of spread this along with lots of other schools and colleges. Is there a way that you want to build this community? Is there a way that all the young minds, even if there are companies or there are schools or there are individuals who want to be a part of this community, how they can be involved in this, what they can do from their end?
Well, we want to invite as many as possible to join hands with us and do this. I mean, today we want to plant 1 lakh trees, but we don't want to stop only at that, right? We want to kind of carry this forward. And I think for now, one step at a time, we want to do like I said, Maulichya Dari. So we want to do the national highway. We want to do the gram panchayats along the route from Anandi to Pandharpur. And I think when we have support from people like you and many more who kind of join hands and come together, we will definitely be able to kind of take this forward in a in a big way.
I think that's amazing to know. And what would be your future plan? Anything you'd like to say before we end this beautiful conversation, which I don't want to end. I want to keep chatting with you, but anything you'd like to say that will truly connect all of us to Maulichya Dari?
I think all I want to say is that it's just a very small initiative that we've started with. And I think this is just a small way of touching lives of so many people. And this is just the beginning. And we would need help from as many as can join hands with us. We would love for more and many more of you to join hands with us and come together and help us in this initiative and take this initiative forward. Yeah, I think
that's beautiful. That's all we need. Like, we want a beautiful community that's driven with purpose. And it was lovely chatting with you today, and it is an absolute honor for me to have you on Unfiltered Conversations. Honestly, it's a learning experience for all of us in the team, that what each and every individual brings to the table, and that's what these conversations are all about. What did you think about Unfiltered Conversations?
Devyani, it's always a pleasure to interact with you. And today is the first time that we're interacting like this. It was absolutely a pleasure. And I hope we can do a couple of more Unfiltered Conversations.
Definitely.
Yeah,
yes.
Lovely.
Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.